Hello, I'm Mark Baratelli from thedailycity.com. We're here live at the dailycity.com lounge at Florida Film Festival 2013. I am delighted to have the cast, the group, the gaggle from Edible Orlando here to do a cooking demo. So please introduce yourselves.
I'm Kendra Lott. I'm the publisher of Edible Orlando.
I'm Katie Farman. I'm the editor of Edible Orlando.
Yummy. Okay, so today, what are we going to make?
We're going to make a recipe from Katie's cookbook, from Florida Field to Feast, and the recipe is a summer fruit salad with fresh mint dressing. And I'm going to get started on the dressing first, and then Katie's going to tell you a bit about some of the ingredients that are all locally grown that are going into this salad.
Awesome. So the recipe is in this cookbook. We could get a close-up of the cookbook. Look at that. Pretty.
It's all about Florida farms, and we tell the stories of different farmers from around the state, from all the way from the Panhandle down to Homestead.
Awesome. All right, well, let's get started. So I feel like I'm on like some kind of cooking show. It's great.
Already we're adapting, because instead of whisking this all together in a bowl, we're just going to do it right in this jar and shake it on up. So I'm going to start by zesting these limes.
Is that actually called a zester?
This is a microplane grater, and it can be used for zesting as well as grating hard cheeses and chocolate. And I'm just going to do a bit of that in there, because this is really nice, because we're going to use both. We're going to use all of the parts of the lime here. If you only want to zest down just to right below the white, you don't want that white pith. You just want the nice green zest.
Is that hard to clean?
No, you just run it under hot water.
Oh. Like me.
or you can just knock it. You can just knock the stuff right out of it. Yep.
Knock it or hot water.
That being the technical term.
Okay.
So I'm gonna roll this around with my palm a little bit, just to kind of get, if it's a little. This is a nice soft lime, but that'll help get the juices going there. I'm gonna do a 1/4 cup of lime juice, and I'm just gonna eyeball that and do it right into the.
Depending on how ripe your limes are, you might need 1 or 2 limes. It just kind of depends. Some of the limes are dry and kind of not very juicy, and some of them are nice and lovely juicy, like this one is. So we may only need 1, we may need 2. Just kind of go.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. Just make it up as you go along.
Is this called muddling? Because I go to the bar and they say, we're going to muddle your blueberries. Are you muddling right now?
No, I'm just juicing. Muddling means when you kind of just take it and smash it up with actually something called a muddler, which would look like this, but maybe a little bit longer and more narrow.
Okay.
And you just kind of squash it.
Oh, okay.
That's muddling. But what that does is if you've got herbs in there, for instance, that kind of bruises the leaves and releases the flavor. But we're going to do that for this, which is a perfect segue. Thank you, Mark. We're going to do that by mincing them.
Okay.
Here, so I'm just gonna, these are already cleaned and stemmed. This is beautiful, nice fresh mint. And I'm just gonna run the knife through here, because it doesn't matter if the pieces are uniform. It only matters if the pieces are uniform if you're cooking something, but this is just for the raw dressing. So we just wanna get it nice and small enough so that you don't get a big wad of mint that later lodges itself in your front teeth, for instance.
And you never, when the mint gets in your teeth, you never feel it until someone taps you on the shoulder and says, honey, come on.
And you hope you have good enough friends to tell you.
That is a good point. Good friends keep your teeth white.
Exactly. So this is nice and small, so we're just going to toss that right in there. So we've got our lime juice. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar.
Wait, show those tablespoons. Look at this. Where did you get these?
These are actually, these are not my tablespoons.
These are belonging
These are some very fancy.
They are?
Another co-author. Yeah.
So
they're probably OXO or one of those cool brands. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just making that up. And depending on how sweet your fruit is, if it's really ripe, sweet fruit, you might not need 2 tablespoons of sugar. If it's kind of on the tail end of the season, you might want maybe even a little bit more sugar, or just depending on your taste. If you like a really tart dressing, leave the sugar out. If you like a super sweet dressing, you can add a little bit more. You can add honey instead of sugar if you don't have sugar, if you just want honey or agave nectar or something like that.
Now, is this some kind of special sugar? Is it like locally grown by sugar farmers, or is this just plain old bag?
this is plain old, because actually with something like this where it's not being heated, you just kind of want the very finely grained regular old table sugar, because the fancy stuff won't dissolve as much into the dressing. So I've added a 1/4 cup of oil, so it's equal amounts of lime juice and vegetable oil, the 2 tablespoons of sugar, the lime juice, the lime zest, and just a little bit of salt here. Back on this and give it a good shake, and that's gonna emulsify it well enough, and that way it'll sit and the flavors will marry and come together Just
married legally
just
in the state of Florida.
That's right.
We won't go there. Okay. All right. Oh, look
There
at
we
that.
go.
And so
Dressing.
in the real recipe, you chop up the fruit and you kind of let it sit in the dressing for a little bit and marinate so it gets that really delicious flavor. So we're just going to pretend that we are going to do that, but for time's sake, we're just going to go ahead and cut up the vegetables and fruit and throw it all together. So I'm going to cut up some Florida peaches. And if you think that Georgia has the hold on peaches, you're wrong. Florida has amazing, delicious, sweet peaches. So I'm going to cut some of those up. And again, this is for a salad, so you can sort of do any way you want. You can get, you know, precise, you can do chunks, wedges, whatever kind of strikes your fancy.
Which shape strikes your fancy most?
I like chunks. I like bite-sized pieces that I can spear with my fork easily. I like to just get as much food as I can into my mouth as fast as I can in general. So we're gonna do peaches, and then we're gonna have some beautiful Florida blueberries, which are ripe. And again, a lot of people think of blueberries as a northern fruit, but they're growing a lot really well in Florida here, apparently on old citrus soil. That's kind of where they do the best.
What are some places where we can get locally grown peaches and blueberries?
You can get locally grown at the farmer's market. Always good to ask the farmer if this is a product that he or she has grown, because just because it's a farmer's market doesn't mean that it's locally grown.
Heard that.
Due diligence is in order. You can look for the Fresh from Florida label at Whole Foods Market or your local grocery store, and just any independently owned produce shop, like More Produce, for instance. They'll be able to tell you the provenance of their produce.
He's from Canada, but he serves local, right?
That's right, he does.
Is he staying in Canada? Do we know yet?
No, he's still here. He's actually,
Yes.
I think they got a stay on,
Yay!
so he'll be here for at least another several weeks, if not months, so.
Good. Because he just opened a second location.
Oh, did he? I didn't know that.
Well, there's something going on Mills, in Mills 50. They've like taken over this open laundromat area,
Cool.
and he's got his sign up, and they painted the walls. So hopefully he stays to open the space that he's opening.
You heard it here first.
So now I'm going to tear up some butter lettuce. This is hydroponically grown from Waterkist Farms. It's a fabulous local farm in Sanford. They do water hydroponic, which means there's no soil. They grow them in water, tomatoes and lettuce. And if you've never seen hydroponic lettuce, this is how it grows. The roots go in the water and they pull it out and the roots are attached. And like this, it will stay in your fridge for a long time. It's beautiful and super fresh and delicious. So I'm just tearing that up because, again, I don't like to do a lot of work in the kitchen. If I can not have to use a knife, I'm happy. So I just tear it up. It's very casual, the salad. And we're gonna toss in the peaches that we chopped.
Is this lettuce from the garden that's on the roof of that building?
No, it's not. This is out on some land in Sanford. But
That's Winter Garden. I'm
Winter
so sorry.
Garden, yeah, it's close enough. No, they also
know
have
everything,
They
I know.
also have beautiful hydroponics. And in our summer issue, we have of Edible Orlando. We have a whole article on hydroponic farms around Central Florida. So you can read more about that in the June, July, August issue. So then I'm going to throw in some blueberries. It's about 2 cups. I think it calls for a little bit less. And in the recipe in the cookbook, we call for cantaloupe, but we couldn't find any local cantaloupe, and we really wanted this to be as local as possible. So if you are finding that you can't find local blueberries, but you can find peaches and cantaloupe, or you can't find peaches, but you can find blueberry and watermelon or whatever, just kind of toss it together. Any kind of summer fruit will be delicious in the salad. I'm going to toss it up, and then we'll go ahead and dress it with Kendra's beautiful dressing. And that's pretty much it. That's the salad. So it's simple, easy, fresh. It's a good summer brunch item, a summer picnic item, a good potluck kind of thing to bring. And you could throw in some tomatoes. You could throw in pretty much anything that grows in the summer. Kind of tastes good together. Anytime something's in season together, they usually go pretty well together. And there we go.
Cool. Well, thank you, Edible Orlando, for coming. And the title of the book is Field
Field to Feast.
Field to Feast, and it's available probably everywhere, right?
It's available on Amazon.com and through Katie personally as well.
Yes, the website is fieldtofeastfl.com.
Great. Well, we want to thank, of course, Edible Orlando, Florida Film Festival 2013, and this has been Mark Baratelli from the DailyCity.com Lounge. Thanks for joining us.